So, we've already talked about giving ourselves permission to be a beginner in whatever hobby we are looking at. Now you're wondering what next. Well, that's actually what we're going to talk about in today's video is turning that permission into a game plan, and hopefully by the end of this video you will have a clear direction of where to start without feeling completely overwhelmed. And what's even great about today's video is I'm going to be going through a PDF that I have created for you that is completely free. The link is going to be down in the description box, and it's just a fun little interactive PDF that kind of gets your mind thinking, but you can also write down some research, your scheduling, stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and go through the PDF, but also talk about steps that you need to take in order to actually create a game plan. One of the very first things that I feel like we need to do, other than giving ourselves permission when first starting off, is to ask ourselves a few different questions. And the reason behind that is because, for one, we can get some clarification as why we are actually wanting to start this hobby. Maybe prepare ourselves for some challenges along the way, but also keep ourselves motivated on the reasoning why we are wanting to start this hobby, but also focus on certain aspects that we can maybe improve on. So in the PDF, I have included in the very first page some affirmations that you can repeat to yourself when you are maybe feeling a little bit doubtful. But also some of the questions I have included is, why do I want to start this hobby? Again, this is going to give you clarification, but also keep you motivated on why you're actually wanting to start. And then also, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? Again, that's going to help you focus on things that you can improve, but also prepare yourself for challenges. And then last question is information that I already know. That way you aren't having to repeat some information that you already know, and you can focus on more information or different information that's going to be helpful later on. And then that will move into defining your goals. Defining your goals is what's really going to lay the foundation for you and keep you motivated. And a lot of fitness coaches actually start off with this with their clients, because when you can define a goal, especially when you set a time frame for that goal, it's going to help you stay motivated. So in page number 2 of the PDF, that is what I have included. There is a little interactive part where you can circle what do you want from this hobby. Are you wanting to relax and reduce stress? Are you just wanting to learn a new skill? Are you wanting to find like-minded people? Or are you actually wanting to have this as a long-term craft, which might turn into a business? So what exactly are you wanting from this hobby? But also there is a few questions as well. One being, what is my goal for this hobby? And the more detail that you can actually define your goal, the better it's really going to help you in the future, because you will have a clear mind and direction what you're actually wanting to accomplish. But also setting yourself a time limit, that's really going to help you as well, because it's going to help you stay on track with your goal, versus if you don't set a time frame, then you might start to slack off or become unmotivated. And then also, what do I want to learn first with this hobby? And start off with a small goal. Don't make anything big or unreasonable. And that's the same thing with when you are starting a time frame. Don't make it unreasonable. Give you a reasonable time frame and a reasonable goal that you can set. That way you're not feeling overwhelmed. In order to keep up with these goals and also stick with this hobby, now we have to make the time and create a schedule that is going to work for us, where we can actually work on these goals and accomplish them. So in my next page, I have a section that is called Making Time. And there's a little section here where you can choose your rhythm, whether it's going to be 15 minutes a day, 1 hour a week, or if it's going to be a weekend craft or creative time or other. Whatever works for you, please put it down here, and also makes a schedule that is going to work with your schedule and what's going to help you accomplish your goals. Now that we have the easy stuff out of the way, now it's time to actually start doing some research. This next section is what really stresses me out and overwhelms me, and I think it does a lot of people as well, just because there's so much information that can be thrown at you at once, but also you might not even know where to begin when starting this new hobby. And that is a lot of the reasons why I wanted to create this PDF, is to give you a point of start. And in the PDF, I do have some questions for you, but also remind you where you can start, which is really the basics. So that being tools and or supplies that you are going to need. And don't go buying 100 different tools right off the bat. Please don't do that. Start with the very basics. And that's what I did with when I started learning how to stamp leather. I actually found a kit on Amazon that was $20 to $30. It might have not been the best kit, but it got me started. So if you can find a kit for beginners in whatever hobby, that is probably going to be your best bet. But also learn some skills or terminology that you are going to need to learn. And then really do research on those terms, because in different hobbies there is a lot of jargon and can be confusing when being a beginner because you don't know that jargon. Like with crocheting, you have whip, you have hot off the hook, you have FOs, you've got all these different jargon words that might be a little confusing to a beginner. And then find a beginner friendly tutorial or video, and if you can find a channel that you really connect and learn through, stick with that channel or two. When first starting off, try not to branch out too much, just because so many different people teach different ways or use different skills, and you can jumble all those skills into one and just become very confused or end up messing up like I did when I first learned how to knit. I did not realize that there was different ways of knitting or different styles of knitting, and so I was taking everything into one and was creating twisted stitches, and I really didn't even know that until a viewer had told me that I was twisting my stitches, and so I did some research and fixed that. But just not knowing as a beginner, that's what happens. So if you can really find a channel or two that you connect with and learn through, stick with those people, at least first starting off. With that being said, the next step is to prepare yourself for challenges, because most of the time you are not going to get it right off the bat. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to mess up, you might even lose momentum, you're going to have those hiccups, and that's okay, because you're just beginning and we all go through it. Even as experienced crocheters, fiber artists, or whatever hobby you're looking into, even the most experienced people do have challenges and make mistakes. So we all go through it. But in the next page in the PDF, I have created a section where you can actually write yourself a letter when you are going through those challenges, just to kind of help reassure yourself that it's okay to mess up, it's okay to have these emotions that you're having, or whatever you would like to put in this letter. There is a section that you can create there. And then when you are having a challenge, making sure to find a community that can help you through that challenge, whether it's a skill that you're not understanding, or a stitch, or whatever it is that you're having issues with. So you can find here on YouTube community groups, you can find obviously on Facebook. I do have a Facebook community group where you can join if you would like to. I would be more than happy to help you with anything that you are struggling with, along with other people who do also have Facebook community groups, or even find yourself a church or a business that specializes in the hobby that you are looking at that can actually help you. And I do have a section here in the PDF where you can actually write those down. And then last but not least, I feel like this is really, really important, which is tracking your progress. Celebrate those small wins, celebrate those small accomplishments, and keep showing up for yourself. It's very important for us to track our progress because sometimes we do get caught up in those emotions and may forget how far we've actually come in our progress. So making sure you're writing a journal or even taking pictures of your progress, and that way you can validate yourself in the future. But that is it that I have for today's video and for the PDF. Making sure you go download that so that way you can go ahead and get started on your new hobby the fearless way. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, share, comment, or subscribe. And remember, you are capable and you are creative, and you can start right where you're at without even knowing anything. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.